Welcome to the Play in Faith podcast, where we dive into the world of sports through the lens of optimism, inspiration, and faith. We're on a mission to infuse youth sports culture with positivity and joy while building the largest network of college Christian athlete mentors in the world. Thanks for stopping by and enjoy today's show. Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Coach Chris from the Play in Faith podcast. I am excited. We have Justin Grubbs, the athletic director from Bremen High School. They have got all kinds of fantastic things going on up at Bremen, including a big regional final tonight for their boys basketball. So I appreciate Justin carving out some time for us. How are you doing today, Justin?
I'm doing great. Excited to be
Yeah.
here.
It's an exciting time at Bremen. So obviously we delay our episodes a little bit. We record, put them into production. So when this airs, this game will already have commenced. But tell us a little bit about what you guys have going on this weekend. It's exciting stuff.
Yeah, our boys basketball teams traveling to Huntington North, and we have a 7 p.m. game against Fort Wayne Lures tomorrow night on Saturday. And so we're hoping to have a big crowd make the trip down there. It's an exciting opportunity as we haven't won a sectional since 1999 for the
Really?
boys program. So it's a big deal around here to see them have this success this year through winning conference, through winning the bi-county, and now an
Wow.
opportunity to win a regional. But we know it's going to be a tall task as well. I mean, Lures is going to be a great team.
Yeah, you're getting into those city schools when you head up to Fort Wayne, where the records may look
Mhm.
a little different, but some of the schedule is daunting for some of those schools. So yeah, for those of you outside of the Indiana area, like we start getting into regional play, we're in there'd be what 16 teams remaining in each class, and you get through that, then we're off to
That, that
semi-state.
sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, and if
Yep.
you haven't ever been to a regional final or a semi-state game in Indiana, you are missing out, my friends. It is it feels big. So you've been through this recently too. Your girls made a heck of a run. So I know your boys, they said first time in a while. Girls, it's
Mhm.
becoming kind of routine.
Yeah, the girls won 3 straight sectionals. We had a really strong senior class this year. We were at semi-state. We made it all the way to the Final Four 2 of the last 3 years. So 2 years ago, we were actually in Huntington, and we lost to Norwell in the championship in 3A. And then this year, we were down in Frankfurt, and we won the first game against Lapel, and then
Mm,
lost to Oak Hill in the championship, who played really great that day. They were a strong team. But I mean, our
yeah,
girls gave it their all, and just it's in an environment like that, they're all good. Every team's good, and it's just who shows up game to game, and we knew that.
true.
And yeah, it just wasn't the outcome we wanted ultimately, but it was a fun ride. I mean, going 24-3 the last 2 years,
Yeah, isn't that
can't
the way
complain
it
too much.
goes, man? Like I think looking back, like your senior class, especially on the girls' side, just an absolutely
Yeah,
legendary class for Bremen. And yeah, again, for those of you not acquainted with Indiana sports, when you get clipped by Norwell, that would be the
yeah,
three-time state finalists now with a win in between, and they just keep winning and classing up. They're playing 4A now, which is the top class in Indiana, and
yeah.
went all the way to the state final again. So just an
Very cool.
unbelievable run. And then you've had some success in some other sports too. So tell me a little bit about some of the other kind of highlights down at Bremen. You guys are doing a lot of cool stuff right now.
Oh yeah, we just had our winter sports awards two nights ago actually, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, we our teams went or they finished with an 80% winning percentage this winter in
Crazy.
all of our contests between swimming, wrestling, and basketball. And it was just an amazing winter. I mean, our boys wrestling went undefeated during the season for the first time in history in dual matches. I mean, we won, I don't know how many conference championships. I think all of them but one
Wow.
out of all the sports. But a couple sectionals, and we had a girls wrestler go all the way to state and get fourth place.
Oh,
Our
exciting.
girls soccer last fall was state runner up for 2A, ultimately falling to Heritage Christian in the championship game. But I mean, it's just been an amazing year. And we're looking to repeat as all sports champions for both boys and girls. Looking for our spring teams to make some runs as well, hopefully. And
Yeah,
so,
it's about that time to turn the page.
yeah,
Well, you guys are doing incredible things, and Bremen is not a large school. What's your just ballpark?
no.
What's your enrollment? Like five, 600?
We're in the mid 400s, so
Oh,
460 or so.
okay. I gave you a
Yeah.
few extra kids, even. Of course. Well, see, I'm a South Florida kid, and
Hmm.
our high school I think was like 4,000 plus. Like
Yeah.
they're putting like
Yeah.
mobile homes in the parking lot and sticking
Yeah.
60 kids in an English class. So
Wow.
460 would have been less than my graduating class. So it's to have that kind of
Yeah.
success. Obviously, we have some classes here, but you're still playing against some big time programs, and then just because you're in 2A, you're playing a lot of 3 and 4A teams in your schedule too. So, yeah, it's been what a great year at Bremen. And what I think is really cool is you guys have just such fantastic community support. And obviously,
Yeah.
Bremen is a public high school. So, obviously, faith is not mandatory. It's certainly not something that you guys are pushing on anybody, but you guys have a really widespread reputation beyond just Bremen for having just remarkable kids. Like you'll see
Yes.
pictures of them praying on the floor, not just with their team, but with their opponents after the game, arm in arm. And I'm just curious, where does some of that come from? Because obviously you're a public school, you're not pushing it. It's not something you
Hmm.
guys require or even suggest, but your kids just lead with a visible faith that is kind of abnormal.
Yeah. I mean, I just think our community in general is very supportive outside of the school setting. And, I mean, their involvement out there and getting to know each other as friends and, their faith leads into that, I'm sure. A lot of our athletes are the leaders in this. And,
Yeah.
I'm sure their families are involved. But just historically, that's a very faith-based community. And then those kids kind of bring that in on their own, and then they instill leadership skills
Yeah.
and work together as a team, and are unselfish as a whole. And I think that was a big part of our success this year. I think the kids intrinsically determining that, hey, we can be successful, we can have this kind of a culture, we can change things from whatever it was in the past, wherever they were, and make this what we want it to be. And so I think coming together like that is a big part of it, and just that team aspect.
Yeah, I mean they just and it trickles down too where
Yes.
your high school kids are setting examples for your elementary
Yeah,
and your middle school kids who want to be
definitely.
just like them. And then it's like a snowball rolling downhill. It just grows and grows. So kind of how I got connected with
Mhm.
you was we'd play your girls. I coach the middle school level, and my kids are pretty bold in their faith for public school. Like they like to pray on the floor, not in the locker room. They want to be seen. That's all them, not me. Your kids had a lot in common and just posted a picture of our girls just praying on the floor, and one of your parents was like, "Oh my gosh, you need to come meet some of our Bremen folks. We're doing amazing things here. Get them on the show." And I said, "Well, thank you so much." So it is really like truly that faith-based connection and just God moving in magical ways, man. It's pretty great stuff. So obviously in your role as athletic director, you're not directly coaching the team individually, but you guys have had a lot of students in the last few years, not just basketball players, but a lot of student athletes take that next step to go on and play in college. And I think that is an area for a lot of our parents and listeners that is a little mystifying. There is this perception that if your kid's going to play past high school and they want to,
Mhm.
put up big stats, show up, and then magically coaches fill the arena, people throw offers at you, NIL contracts are land. And that's really not how it works. So, just from your perspective, walk us through a little bit about what that journey looks like for most of your kids. Again, with the caveat,
Mhm.
most of them are not high major D1. They're
Mhm.
playing at smaller schools, wonderful educational opportunities. So walk me through a little bit about how that process begins for some of your top athletes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's my second year as athletic director, but I was a college baseball coach before that, so I
Sure.
definitely have recruiting background there, and I've been in the area here to kind of see some of the other athletes go through this process. And I would start with, saying that, those big schools can happen, even at a school like Bremen. I mean, Erin
Oh,
Koppel
sure, sure,
showed
sure.
that for us, and that was before my time here, but I watched her play growing up, and she committed as a freshman to Kentucky, and now she's arguably one of the best, if not one of the best softball players in the nation
Yeah, it's
at the
crazy.
professional level. But and then we've had a couple D1 athletes since then. I know Mickey Shively recently. She ended up at a Division 1 for softball. And then a lot of other athletes, even last year, that were looking to go somewhere and ended up at the NAIA level and running track or playing football or playing baseball or some of the ones that come to mind right now.
Yeah.
And then this year we've had, I don't know, 5 commits, 6 commits out of the
Which is
senior
which is
class.
crazy, right? I mean, your senior
Yeah,
class
it's
is barely
awesome.
100 kids, and that's just
Yeah.
unbelievable. Yeah.
And,
And
just having those opportunities to go to whether it be NAIA schools, maybe even some D3 schools, just depending on the sport and where the best fit is.
sure.
And, we've even had some junior colleges. So definitely, actually, we've had 3 or 4 junior college commits recently. And
It's
so we probably
fantastic.
have more than 5 or 6. I think we're pushing 10 commits
Wow.
from this class, the
And
more
and
I think about it.
it's kind of amazing. Like, and when I mentioned like some of these smaller schools, I think anyone who follows our show knows that we are huge advocates of play at the level that's right for you. There is so
Yeah,
many amazing opportunities beyond just D1. And even as we
totally.
get into the D1 level, if you're not like a McDonald's All-American, coaches aren't
Mm,
flying to high
mm,
schools to watch people. There's a lot of proactiveness even when we start talking about the D1 level
yes,
outside of the top 100 kids in the country. Like there's so much more of a proactive requirement for these
yes.
athletes, their coaches, their families, than it is just sit back and wait for
Yeah,
the mailbox to flood. So let's kind of go back to
yeah,
your on your college
yeah.
side as your baseball coach. Tell us real quick where were you coaching at, and tell us a little bit about that.
I was at Goshen College as a baseball coach for 12 years. I was the recruiting coordinator for 10 of those years.
Awesome.
And we really built the class up to where we could compete for a stretch there with by far the smallest school in the conference.
Yes.
And to be able to compete at that level and at that school, I mean, it was hard to do. So we had to recruit. But yeah, just seeing the process there and then being able to help the kids here with my experience, I think has helped at least have conversations with them, direct them. If they have questions, parents have questions, I'm
Sure.
offering any help I can give. But like you said, being proactive. I mean, even with my own daughter, I mean, yeah, she's well known as a great athlete around here, but that doesn't mean everybody knows about her. Or,
Sure.
she had to reach out to a lot of schools to say, hey, I might be interested in your school.
Right.
And then from there, where can it go? Get on visits, and you got to find the right fit. And like I said, even some of the junior colleges are the right fit for some of our kids. If
Yeah.
they want to go for a 2-year school, they want to stay local. Maybe the funds aren't there. It's a great opportunity
Mhm.
for a free tuition a
Oh,
lot of the time.
incredible, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and to give a little context, so your daughter Eliana is
Hmm.
a just made all state in
Hmm.
Indiana. So I think that's worth noting that there are tons of amazing student athletes that are going on to play collegiately and have great careers that are not even at that level of accomplishment, but it's still
Yes.
a proactive
Yes.
process, right? There might be two or three
Yes.
kids here that are
Oh,
having their doors beaten down. And for the most part, we've got girls that are all state that
yeah.
are sending letters or emails, probably letters might be just
Yeah.
tipped our age. They're sending proactive communication to these schools, these coaches, their athletic directors. Um,
Yeah.
so so if obviously on the college side, Goshen, you did a lot of the recruiting. So how did you find some of your kids? Are you out here combing all of these camps? Are you guys kind of
Oh,
balanced between what you're doing proactively and what's coming into you from local coaches and families? Like how did you start? How do you find a kid at that level, right?
yeah. I mean, I think back to how we had to build success in our recruiting strategy, and I took the lead on that, and along with the head coach at the time. I mean, we worked really hard together on this. It's a lot of hours, but
It is.
it's a numbers game, and at the same
Mhm.
time, it's trying to find a good mix because we had to find some Indiana kids that could help us that were, really good athletes. But we also had a lot of small schools around here who were competing with us. And so,
Mhm.
we would lose out a lot of times to Taylor and Indiana Wesleyan and Huntington and Marion. If those schools wanted them, they were bigger schools and they were a
Mhm.
little bit more appealing if they had football and things like that. But
Sure.
So we had to find the right guys locally and around the state that could fit. And then at the same time, I made many recruiting trips around the Midwest in the summers, driving and then and working showcases, finding guys from Chicago, finding guys from
Sure.
Indianapolis, going to Michigan. And then throughout the year, usually in the winter, I would go to either Florida, Texas, Georgia.
Wow.
I never went to California, but we had a really good core of top athletes from Southern California. And once you kind of build that
Amazing.
bridge in
Hmm.
areas where they're being overlooked, and if you really think about it, like Southern California, it's all D1s, maybe some D2s,
You have
and a lot of
huge
D1 junior
California.
colleges.
Yeah,
It's
you have
all
a
like feeders to
huge
the
system to
D1.
Cal. Yeah,
And
sure.
so they don't have schools our size out there for colleges. Like we're loaded with D3s and NAIs around the Midwest.
Yes.
And so they get passed over. I mean, I remember our best pitcher of all time. His teammates, one of them went to he was the number three pitcher on his team at a really strong high school and a big school in Los Angeles. And his teammates, one went to Washington, University of Washington, and one went to Fresno State, and then he was
Okay.
overlooked. Well,
Yeah,
guess what? He ended up being our number one pitcher of all time. I mean, he was that good
that's
and found the
fantastic.
right fit for him, right? Where he could
Yeah.
thrive. But
Oh,
he
it's
didn't know about coaching
definitely
until we reached out, right? So,
well, right. I mean, it's
yeah.
definitely like a tireless process. Like we did an episode earlier this year. A lot of people probably listened to the one with Chandler Rose. It's my brother-in-law. He's a college baseball coach down in Alabama,
Okay,
and
cool.
their D2 level, excellent program,
Yeah.
really, really good program. And I mean, they are pounding the pavement. They're up in Minnesota. They're up in like the Cape
Hmm.
League. They are all over the place. And obviously, Florida, Alabama is pretty fertile recruiting ground. So, given that your background on that side of the fence, you understand what
Hmm.
an NAIA program or a D2 school might be looking for and how they go about it. Obviously, you've been through this now with your own daughter. We'll get to her in a minute.
Hmm.
So, a Bremen athlete who's a freshman or sophomore
Yeah.
comes in, they say, Mr. Grubbs, this is what I want to do.
Okay.
What do I need to do next? What would you tell that 15, 16-year-old
All
kid,
right.
assuming there is some athletic potential
Yes. Yeah.
opportunity there,
That's a
right?
great question. I know a lot of them have aspirations to play at that high level. I'd say, first of all, unless you're Aaron Koffel, you're probably not getting coaches reaching out to you with offers until maybe even close to your senior year, like right before your senior year. And I mean, Eliana's getting some now, just some interest now. I'm like, well, she's committed.
I was going to say
But it's a little bit
they
too
missed
late.
the memo.
But me, from my background, we were waiting until senior year a lot of the time to try to recruit because you have to kind of wait for the D1s to process and pick theirs
Interesting.
over, and then the NAIs and the other ones start showing up. So I'd say be
Interesting.
patient, first of all,
Hmm.
in that respect. Like if you're not getting attention early, it's okay, because you have plenty of time to develop, and that might mean that it's could be a long shot that you're going D1 if you're not starting to get interest in those first 2 or 3 years.
Sure.
Now, people do improve, and there are chances later on for you to really develop and
Oh, you
become
see
a D1
those late
athlete. Yes,
bloomers
that's
all the time.
always
Yeah,
a possibility, right?
sure.
But I'm saying for the average person. But I would say you could create an NCSA account, you could create a field level account, sports recruits. I'd say NCSA is probably the most popular field level as well.
So about what age
But
would you encourage them to start doing that? Because I know just with my
yeah,
background in youth sports, I mean, we have parents of like 9-year-olds that think like,
no,
Gino Ariema and like,
no.
like Coach Krzyzewski are sitting in the bleachers. But then we also have people that wake up one day, it's junior year and their kid hasn't played anywhere outside of high school, hasn't really initiated this process. And now they're like, oh my gosh, what do we do? So at what
Yeah.
point do you start putting some of that stuff together?
I mean, I'd say freshman year you could create free accounts.
Mhm.
I know there's ways that you can pay for services. If you do the reaching out and tracking yourself, you really don't need to pay for those services.
I
I mean,
know
I'll
I'm
be
always
honest,
afraid
straight up there.
I'm always
I'll
afraid
say
to
it.
like make a future sponsor mad, but I have been very, very, very skeptical and reluctant and
Yeah.
almost flinch at this industrial youth sports complex where I've heard some of the messaging to kids that I know where your kid needs to play on this travel team because they're D1 and they're a kid who may not even make varsity as a sophomore at our 3A program. Like, not to be mean, there's maybe a dozen D1 kids in the state of Indiana. If you're not making varsity as a sophomore at a 3A program, you're not one of them. And that's fine. I certainly
Mhm.
wasn't one of them.
Mhm.
I don't expect my daughters to be one of them. Right. I mean, that doesn't mean you're failing. Heck, if you never
Mhm.
play a game past high school, that's wonderful. Like learn the lessons. But the pressure on some of these parents, and they're spending
Yeah.
thousands and
Yeah.
thousands and thousands of dollars for a dream that's just frankly not realistic for their kid. I have flinched at that a lot. So I like where you're going with some of these free services, and hopefully they have someone like
Yeah.
you, a good coach or an athletic director in their corner to support them to nurture that dream, but also to shape it in a way where it has a possibility of coming true. Right.
Yeah, I mean, coaches can help with promoting the kids. I mean, I try to get our coaches to do that. The more that they can email
Sure.
college coaches that they think are a good fit with, I mean, that's always a good start. Not all parents have the knowledge or the resources of what to do, so maybe
Of
they feel
course
more
not.
comfortable with the service. That's okay.
Sure.
If that takes that off their plate, it really does help the kid get their name out there through those services. But if you can do the contacting yourself, the kid or the parent can help them reach out by email to, look up the programs you're interested in, reach out by email or phone and just try to get up assistant coaches or head coaches and just try to
Yeah.
get on their campus in front of them and meet these coaches of where you're interested in. And then you kind of get a feel for where your fit is. And, oh, that's a little bit
Yeah.
higher level than I thought. And because there's a lot of good players out there. And even if you go to some of these NAIs around here, NAI basketball around here
Oh
is the
my
top in the
goodness.
nation at that
Yes.
level. And
Yeah.
so the Crossroads League is the top conference. I mean, there's always top
Oh,
ranked teams. And so
it's
you go around those
incredible.
schools and you see these 6'1" D1 bounce backs.
Yeah.
In girls basketball, we're 6'10". All my roommates in college were 6'10", 6'11" on the basketball team,
Yeah.
and they were legit.
It's crazy. Like Grace opens up tonight. They're at home. I mean, their roster is just
Yeah,
loaded with Indiana All Stars, like which is
yeah.
first team All State. They just had a 6'10" kid 2 years ago go on and play at Colorado. They're number
Mhm.
one in the country. Like people who think like, oh yeah, just small school. I'm like, no, no, no. These are like some of the best basketball players in the state
Yeah,
of Indiana. 6'7", 6'8" dudes. Like if they were 6'11", they're at
yeah,
Purdue. Like I mean, these are
exactly.
like big, big, big time. So when a kid comes to you, and I hope, like, I guess what I would like to encourage folks
Mhm.
is nothing wrong with being proactive as a parent. That's wonderful. But hopefully you have a high school coach, or, your club team if you're playing club ball, like an OPS Always
Yes.
100, NEVA for volleyball, whatever, perfect game for baseball, whatever it is. Like hopefully you have that coach, but hopefully you also have your high school coach and your athletic director. I would just encourage people, like, talk to them first, before you're dropping
Yes.
thousands and thousands of dollars on, because some of these services are ethical, but man, I've seen some stuff that does not pass my personal ethics sniff test.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
mentioned AAU as well, and those kind of programs. That's a way to get your name out there and to play against high level competition.
Yes.
Um, we did that in one sport. I know it'd be really hard for anybody to do that in more than one sport. The travel ball with school ball, we want three sport athletes at Bremen, so
Yeah.
balance and all of that is key. But finding a program that'll work with you
Yeah.
and allow your kid to be a kid along with getting some exposure and having good coaches and coaches that a lot of times are from the college level, they can help you through that process. And so
Sure.
there's definitely a benefit in certain sports to
Well, so
to go
you've
to
been through
those
this
programs.
process too, with your daughter, and
Mhm.
so you've got a personal touch. You've been on the shopping side, right, as the recruiter on the
Yeah.
college, and now you've been on the parent side.
Mhm.
So, as you went through this journey with your daughter, obviously she got a lot of acclaim, this year, but some of the all-state stuff was a little later in her career. Um, Compared to, we've had like Jocelyn Bricker on and some folks that are,
Oh, yeah.
local, that have like D1s banging down their door.
Mhm.
Obviously, she had an incredible career. It was, she signed a little just recently, correct? Like just like a
In
couple.
September of
Okay,
her senior year.
so I guess not that late, but so as that process was unfolding, just kind of walk us through a little bit. Like, at what point was she playing club ball? At what point did you guys say,
Okay.
okay, we are looking at this beyond just high school, and here's how we want to manage it? Because it,
Okay.
like you mentioned, it is a mystery for so many parents. So you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
really help shine a light for them.
I mean, Eliana, I mean, she had always played three sports. She was an exceptional softball player at a young age. And then basketball, she was just okay. And then about sixth, seventh grade, where she was just working out on her own, taking initiative, you could tell she really loved basketball. And she'd go down in the basement and dribble around and like, wow. And then she really took off as a seventh grader. She scored 33 points in a game in eighth grade. And just like, you're like, okay, so maybe there's something there.
Something's
And
brewing.
and she's gonna probably start as a freshman next year on the varsity, just where we were, and we needed a point guard. Elliot Foster had just graduated. She
Yep.
just got done playing at Bethel for
Hmm.
3 years, I believe,
Wow.
and still looking to play next year somewhere else probably.
Okay.
Um, but Eliana needed some experience going into her varsity season as a freshman, and so we got her connected with some AAU ball there going into her freshman year so that she could play against some higher level
Was
competition
she always
and some
100 or
tougher
five
girls.
star?
This was 5 star,
5 star. Okay.
which is just where we got connected. We're,
Yeah.
25 minutes away, 30 minutes away. I think at the time it was in Elkhart. We practiced in Edwardsburg a little bit. And then by the time she was a senior, it was in Mishawaka. But they were great with just working with us and her three-sport schedule when she's in softball season every single spring. And we couldn't make
Yeah.
everything, and she could make it to about half of them in the spring and then all the summer. But that's part of it, is, finding
Living that
people who are
life.
willing to work with you and let them be a kid. Because
Yeah.
there can be some demanding programs out there, or, we weren't traveling to Texas. We were not traveling to
No.
Florida. We knew she probably wasn't playing in those states anyway, so we didn't really need to go there.
No. You don't need
But
to
for
leave
her, playing
Indiana
around the
here.
Midwest, playing around Indiana, Michigan, she
Yeah.
ended up choosing a school in Michigan, had, great opportunity there. So
Yeah.
it
So
worked
brag for
out.
a minute. Where's she headed?
She's going to Cornerstone
Great
University.
program. Great
So she's
program.
going to be one of four incoming freshmen there, and just a great culture there. That's a perfect culture
Yeah.
for her. She wants a Christian environment, and where she can grow. And it's a small school where there's just a family atmosphere. And
Yeah.
I feel really comfortable with her going up there with Coach Yonkers and the staff and her teammates, and becoming a part of it and trying to find her role, and hopefully as early as possible. But hey, it's all
Yeah.
on her.
Well, we'll be praying for her. We're
So
looking forward to. I think we've connected, so we're looking forward to interviewing her.
yeah,
I even let my little daughters grab the headset for a couple minutes. They
all
love
right,
interviewing. They love interviewing the high school kids. When you
yeah,
talk about her journey, it's maybe it's more just personally fascinating to me, but I think a lot of our audience sits in the same basic place that I do in life. So my daughters are almost the exact inflection point that your daughter reached. My daughter is an eighth grader. She was a little bit of a late bloomer, right? Like fifth or
okay,
sixth grade. We
yeah,
didn't, whatever. And then this year, our team had a really good season. She led us in almost every statistical category. All of a sudden, she's a 5'8" point guard who's got a couple more inches to grow. And we said, okay, it's time, right?
hmm
Like there's a decent chance varsity ball is in the pretty near future. We're not ready. So, off to travel ball where, I mean, oh my goodness, some of these kids, right? I mean, she's got some teammates that are already getting
yeah,
interest. They're 5'10", 5'11", skilled, athletic. And so we hit that same point, and we're dealing with the same thing, right? Like tomorrow we have to make a
hmm
decision. Are we playing in our volleyball championship with our school, or are we going to
yes,
our club team practice? And they've been very, we've been blessed too. They work with us and they get
that's
it.
great.
Like this program gets it. But so at what point, I don't want to steal all of her content, but I'm curious, like at what point
Mhm.
did you guys have the discussion as to, okay, this is how many sports we can realistically manage, and we can't be high level travel with all of them, so we
Oh
have
yeah.
to start kind of whittling it down. So like, what was it, that ninth, 10th grade time? Like when did you start whittling it down a little?
I would say she knew what she really wanted to do by her ninth grade year. She just loved basketball that much. And then as her team had success as a sophomore going to the Final Four,
Sure.
she's like, that definitely sealed it. Like her
Yeah.
and Emma Kincaid knew that they both wanted to be
Yeah, kid can
college
hoop too.
basketball players, and they loved it. And
Yeah.
Kyla Foster, was going to be a college athlete, and just a great
Yeah.
program together. I would say, as a dad, and as a baseball coach, I thought she had the highest
I was
potential
gonna
as a
ask.
softball player, honestly,
That has to hurt.
because I know how many athletes you need in the college level, and I like you could probably be a small D1 softball player, but I could tell her that all day. But her first love is basketball, and so I didn't want to take
Yeah.
that away from her, and so we just that's what you're going to do for travel.
Yeah.
And I'm going through this with my younger daughter right now. I mean, she mentions that she might want to be a college softball player. Well, she's a cheerleader in the fall. She played she started on our JV basketball team this year as a guard and point
Mhm.
guard most of the year. And then she'll play softball this year, probably be on the varsities, at least some as a freshman,
Mhm.
depending on how it turns out here. But
Sure.
she acts like she wants to play softball. So we're making that decision now. Well, maybe sometime you might get connected to some travel
Yeah.
softball here, or you don't have to because it's not for everybody.
Oh,
And you
it's a
could
lot.
still get to the college level and not play travel ball.
Mhm.
There's opportunities out there. It just might be a late sign. It might be you expressing interest, going to some camps. So there's just so many different avenues. I want to get that out there. It's like the recruiting aspect. It's not just a one size fits all. It's not just clear
Yeah.
cut, set in stone, do this, because there are so many scenarios. I mean, I've seen people not play high school ball and end up playing college ball. I've seen just so many different scenarios where some did play travel, some didn't, some played varsity, some never played varsity, and then were a college level athlete just based on the school that you're at and the program.
Right.
I've seen, Michael Jordan, he was cut from his team, right? So
Yeah.
that people make progress, and don't ever take that dream away from yourself if that's something that you have.
Yeah, I mean it's so school specific too. Like if you're going to get exposure at like you guys are building up a reputation as a high level basketball program, so that does take some of the mandatory AAU exposure off some of your basketball girls. They can play at Bremen, have a really high performance. So it really is like program specific. I remember growing up playing like my sophomore year, we had a kid on JV who was 6'7". People used to give him a hard time. Well, all five of our starters played in college and he was behind somebody. And kid ended up playing at Auburn, first team All State in Florida. Like,
Yeah,
a lot of it is where you are, right? If you're
yeah,
at Warsaw, you might play JV as a
yes,
sophomore. You might have been the leading scorer for half the other schools in the area.
yes.
So it is so program
Hmm.
specific. One size never fits all. Um, so that had to be interesting as a baseball coach. Like I try to guard against that so much that I love basketball. It's what I
Hmm.
coach. Our family's into it. My daughters do play other sports. It appears that their love is basketball, but if one of them's like grows to be 5'11", 6 foot, and is like, Dad, I want to play volleyball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like God bless you. Go do it. Like ultimately, I mean, we've had pro athletes on here as well, and they said I'm not going to put I had my chance. I got to live my life. It's
Yeah,
theirs. It's
yeah,
theirs. And whatever they want to do, that it's our job to support and lift them up as much as we can, even when it's hard.
totally.
So I would imagine she was mashing on the baseball field too, man. I'm sorry. Too bad she couldn't do both.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've thrown that out many times. And she could probably do that at Cornerstone both if she really wanted to, but she doesn't have to for
It is funny. We see the world
so,
through our lens. Like I'll be at a volleyball tournament this weekend and I'll see like a 5'11" girl just hit a spike and I'll turn to my wife and I'm like, man, I hope she can't dribble or shoot.
hmm.
Because we just tend to see the world through the sport that we love. But well, you guys are doing incredible things at Bremen, and obviously I'm looking forward to speaking with your daughter too. I think she'll be an inspiration to so many girls who want to live that journey. So kind of as we wind down, I always try to shoot for the half hour mark and go long. As we wind down, if you had just one bit of advice, not about the recruiting process, but about the work, the dedication that it
Hmm.
takes to go from freshman, sophomore with some talent and a dream to get to the level where you've coached or you've raised
Hmm.
a daughter, like what would you tell that 15, 16-year-old and their parents about what it really takes to get to that next level?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it throughout the college level in 4 years, guys going from here to there, um, through the high school level as well. But just all the behind the scenes work that that kid needs to intrinsically have. And it can't be your parents always telling you to go shoot baskets or to go lift weights, go get some swings in, whatever the sport is.
Yeah.
It's also got to come from within. And that kid taking that ownership um, for their development and then keep getting better. I mean, we've seen it with some athletes around here, just continuously getting better. As a parent, the more you can provide them opportunities to get better. Are you willing to go outside and hit them some balls, play catch with them? Are you willing to find them somebody that can do these things if you can't physically? shoot baskets with them, take them to a gym, take them to some camps. It's a lot of investment for parents too,
Man.
in helping them, giving them those resources. And I know not all kids have that, so finding a way for them to have that.
Yeah.
One thing that we started here at Bremen that I didn't mention yet was the mini dribblers program that we just had a couple weeks ago, and just through the Pacers, and they came here and worked with our first through fourth graders, and
That's
just giving
awesome.
them an avenue to get started, where you just try to provide opportunities for kids.
Yeah, I
And
love it, and it is a
yeah,
lot. I mean, I think we have that discussion with people all the time. We have it in our household. I mean, we will be 24, 26 hours in a gym, 4 hours
yeah,
in a car just in 2 days for our two daughters. But rather than looking at it as time lost, I look at it as
oh yeah,
relationships forged. And as
yes,
long as your kids are driving it, they love it, they want to
yes,
be there. Man, as much as it feels overwhelming, this is such a short season of life. And as proud as you are of your daughter, I would bet money you'd go back and do these 3 years again if you could, and
yes. It's all
soak it
those
all
moments
in.
traveling together,
I
being
know.
together. If they love it, like you said,
Right.
it's on them. If you're forcing them to do this, there's really no point.
No.
What are we doing here? But if that's what they want to do, and you're there with them, just spending time with them, it's an avenue for you to spend time with them.
Yeah.
And I
It's
know
been
not
such a
sports are
blessing.
not everything, right? So, but it can teach life lessons through that time together.
Yeah, that's our goal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole point of playing faith. Sports is a dress rehearsal for life, and I do like the perspective of just, and we try to have this perspective every morning. My wife and I are like, man, this is such a short, brief season. We are
Mhm.
so blessed. Our relationship with our kids is so much deeper through this shared passion and love. But we've just got to keep it all in perspective that it is sports is amazing, but it's just part, not all of life. It's the relationships
Mhm.
that we get to build and just take joy in this part of their career because it really is a cool season of life. But
Yeah, so I wish all the parents out there the best, and all the athletes, because I mean, it's a quite the process, but it's a lot of fun, and hopefully they can achieve the goals they have set.
yeah, well, Justin, thank you so much. Congratulations on all the success your programs have had at Bremen, and just personally, I imagine it's got to be just such a thrill to have watched your daughter achieve all she has, and now heading off to the next level. And your school is very blessed to have you in a role where you can help share that wisdom and knowledge with some other athletes. And thank you for sharing that wisdom and knowledge with our audience. I think that hopefully they take away some fantastic lessons. And just thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for the
All
time.
right, we're gonna be praying for you and all the Bremen athletes this weekend and on into the future. So, thank you, Justin. I appreciate it, and I can't wait to chat with you sometime soon.
All right, we'll see you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Play in Faith podcast. If you love what you heard, please take a moment to rate our show and share it with your friends and fellow athletes. Together, we can spread the joy and positivity that youth sports deserves. And be sure to visit playinfaith.com for more fantastic resources. We're on a mission to build a vibrant community of Christian athlete mentors that are not just a voice your athlete will listen to, but one they should. Until next time, keep playing in faith.